They didn't leave suddenly. You just weren't paying attention. Because by the time an INTJ cuts you off, they've already replayed everything. Every pause, every inconsistency, every moment that didn't match what you said you were. And no, they didn't react right away. That's the part people misunderstand. They don't explode. They don't confront impulsively. They don't give you dramatic warnings. They observe, quietly, precisely, over time. And while you think things are fine, they're already adjusting how much of you they trust. Not outwardly emotional, but internally, it's both pattern recognition and a shift in personal standards. That's where it starts, not the cutoff, the distance. You say something that contradicts your actions. They notice, they don't mention it. You cancel last minute, again. They register it, still no reaction. You disrespect their time, subtly. They log it and move on, externally. But internally, something shifts. Not fast, not loudly, just enough. And this is the part no one notices. INTJs don't argue when they lose respect. They withdraw access. They stop explaining themselves. They stop correcting you. They stop investing. Because in their mind, if they have to explain basic consistency to you, you're already disqualified. Not because you made one mistake, because you became a pattern. Let's make it real. You're their friend. At first they listen, they engage, they give thoughtful responses. You feel understood. But over time, you start repeating the same problems, same complaints, same cycles. They offer solutions. You ignore them. They adjust. Next time, they say less. Not out of anger, out of recognition. You think they're just tired. They're not. They're recalibrating your value, not just logically. Something stops aligning internally. Or in a relationship. At the beginning, they're intentional, present, focused, careful with their energy. They don't fall fast, but they commit deeply once they do. And then, you start being inconsistent, hot and cold, unavailable when it matters, emotionally vague. They don't chase clarity. They observe behavior. Here's the truth, Spike. They don't see your intentions, they see your patterns. So when your words and actions don't align, they stop believing the words, silently. You think, they didn't say anything, so it must be okay. No, they just stopped expecting anything from you. And this is where the shift becomes irreversible. Because once an INTJ stops expecting, they start detaching, not dramatically, not visibly, just less. Less messages, less curiosity, less emotional presence. You might even feel it. Something is off. But when you ask, they say, "I'm good." And technically, they are. Because they've already started letting go. Not because they didn't care, because they cared and measured. And because something no longer aligned with what they respect. Here's the contradiction. The more they value you, the longer they tolerate misalignment. But the longer they tolerate it, the more data they collect against you. So when the decision finally happens, it feels sudden to you, but to them, it's overdue. There's no big fight, no dramatic ending, no long explanation, just absence. You reach out. No response. Or worse, a polite, distant version of them, cold, efficient, final. And you wonder, what happened? Nothing recent. That's the point. The decision wasn't made in the moment. It was built slowly, layer by layer, observation by observation, until one day, the equation was complete. And here's the part people struggle with. They rarely look back unless something fundamentally changes. Not because they're heartless, because they already processed the loss before you even realized there was one. They grieved quietly, adjusted internally, detached gradually, so by the time they leave, there's nothing left to revisit. You try to explain. They already considered that version. You apologize. They already factored that possibility. You promise change. Too late. Because from their perspective, you didn't say the wrong thing. You showed the same pattern, one too many times. That's the memory that stays, not your words, your consistency, or lack of it. And this is the identity shift that hurts most. It's not that they lost you. It's that you became someone they no longer respect. Once that line is crossed, there's rarely negotiation once the pattern feels confirmed. No emotional appeal, no, we can fix this. Because for them, connection without respect is inefficient, and they don't invest in what doesn't make sense. So they cut it off. Clean, precise, final. No obvious warning, because the warning was in the pattern of distance you didn't question. And by the time you notice the silence, they've already moved on to a version of life that no longer includes you. And this isn't even the part that causes the most damage. There's another pattern behind this.